Hey everyone, happy Tuesday, November. We are in the middle of Team Spirit Month. We have awesome trainings that have been going on in the team page all month. Leaders have taken topics. They're going live. They're sharing their best practices with you. So I hope if you cannot make them on live that you are going back and watching those nuggets. It's super important to grow yourself through this business. And today we are so lucky to have a dear friend who I've recently just gotten to know a lot better, Kristi Kronser. We met at Superstar Weekend, and wow, I've had some Zoom chats with her. I've stayed in really close contact with her, just brainstorming, and she has a really remarkable story about consistency and perseverance. And she's going to share with you her story and give you some takeaways that you can start applying to your business. And you know, I've heard Kristi's story a few times, and each time it inspires me, but I wanted to get a quote that I think, and I don't know what direction she's taking, but I thought it was really powerful. Before every great reward comes the footprints of persistency, consistency, perseverance, faith, courage, and patience. And I think if you talk to Kristi one-on-one, she would say she's probably encountered all of those things. She had to have faith in this business. She had to step out of her comfort zone and have courage. She had to persevere through some obstacles and some setbacks. She had to be patient. You know, she had this vision of where she wanted her life to go, but she had to be patient while she worked in silence, right? Like she let success make the noise. And because she continued to show up and persevere, she is, let me break down her stats for you because it is incredible. Let me just pull them up. Sorry, I should have had them here. So I asked her right before the call. I was like, please, can I have your stats? So, of course, again, she is a superstar diamond coach. You guys, she has the highest ranking in all of Beachbody. She's also a 5-star in her second CBC, 3-star in her third CBC, and has achieved diamond in her fourth CBC, which means she is going to be opening up her fifth CBC. She's also a member of the Millions Club, which means she has cumulatively earned $1 million in her business. Incredible. She is a Success Club Legend 10, Success Club All-Star Legend 10. So for 7 months, you guys, she has hit Success Club 10 in her business. And she's a 4-time elite. We're wrapping up this year. She's going to be 5-time elite, I have no doubt, and executive leader on the leaderboard. So, on the leadership ladder. So what all that means is basically that quote that I told you. So I'm going to repeat it again, and then I'm going to be quiet and turn it over to Kristi. But before every great reward, before every success she has experienced in her business comes the footprints of persistency, consistency, perseverance, courage, faith, and patience. So I am going to turn it over to you, Kristi. Thank you so much for joining us, and take it away.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me. And I love that quote. I've never heard that. Usually, like quotes I've heard, you know, everything somewhere before in some form of personal development. I'm going to have to get that one from you. I love it. So I'm going to go way back, just way back in my story, because it really paints a picture of who I am and why I do have faith and courage in this business. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to try not to cry, but still, like, I've told my story so many times and it always makes me cry. And I think that is probably one of the biggest reasons why I've been successful, is because I do have a why that brings me to tears still to this day. So when I was 8 years old, my parents divorced, like many parents do, but we lost everything. So we went from being secure financially, from having my mom, she was a stay-at-home mom. We had horses. I showed horses. We had a ranch. I had 4 boxer puppies, which is why I have my boxer puppy Stella now. And we lost it all. And my dad sold our ranch. He moved out of state, and we had to move into a low-income apartment and get rid of all of our animals. And as an 8-year-old, I cried. I lost all of my animals. I lost everything that I knew in this world. And my dad left us. But that wasn't even the tough part. My mom suffered so bad. And I remember one night asking for $5 for a soccer tournament, and she didn't have the money, and she cried herself to sleep that night. I was only 10 at the time, but I never asked for money again. I didn't want her to think that she wasn't enough as a mother. So fast forward to college. I went to college, graduated salutatorian. I was like, this is it. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to earn a lot of money so that my mom doesn't ever have to worry. She doesn't have to struggle. And my second year of college, I went through a major depression. And people will say that they're depressed, and you hear that word thrown around a lot, but I actually wanted to end my life. And I called my mom one day and I said, Mom, I won't do it, so don't worry, but I don't want to be here anymore. And it doesn't even pain me to say that. Like, I have no feelings or emotions towards it, but I don't know why I'm here or what. Like, there's no point to this thing. And my mom and my grandma immediately came down to school. I went from being a 4.0 student in college to not showing up to class. And when I went to the counselor, they told me that it had everything to do with my childhood and repressing all the memories. And so I went to counseling for years, but what really helped me was I had a friend, and he asked me to do a sprint triathlon. I was not athletic. I was not in shape. In fact, I had gained 30 pounds in 2 months from just eating and then sleeping, eating and then sleeping. That was all I did. And he said, let's do the sprint triathlon. I'm like, I don't know how to swim, and I haven't been on a bike since I was like 8 years old. He's like, that's okay, I'll teach you. I literally was terrified. I did not know how to ride a bike. I was standing up against a wall on the bike, trying to figure out like how to balance and how to clip in with clip-in pedals. And I remember I'd come up to a stoplight and I'd be like, please don't turn red. Please don't turn red. I don't know how I'm going to get back on this bike if it turns red. So everything terrified me because I had no idea what I was doing. But that sprint triathlon, I was the last out of the water. When I say last, I was dead last out of the water. I was the last person you would have thought to have completed an Ironman triathlon, but that's where this sprint triathlon took me. I finished that triathlon, and when I crossed the finish line for the first time, I cried, and I was like, I have emotion again. Like, I cried over something, and a happy cry, like, I can do this. And it was fitness and nutrition, not immediately, but 3-4 years, that brought me out of my depression. And it wasn't that it just, I had more bad days than good days, but slowly the good days and bad days evened out. And then the good days became more than the bad days. And then the bad days were just once a week. And then they were just once a month. And then they were every few months. So it wasn't immediate, but fitness brought me out of it. So fast forward, go get, college degree, go into the financial industry. My degree was financial management. I'm going to be a financial advisor. I'm going to create freedom in my life. Flexibility, time freedom, financial freedom, all of it. I'm so pumped, right? And then I realized I really didn't enjoy it at all. I'm like, is this all there is to life? Like, this is awful. And I was broke. I lived in California. They were paying me barely anything. My boss took me from salary and commission to an hourly wage. So here I was 5 years into the business going backwards. And I'm like, I need more control over my life. Not just financial freedom, not just time freedom. I need to love what I do every day. And I need to not have a boss because this isn't cool. He kept taking things away from me. So I was actually searching for the coach opportunity. And when it was presented to me, I didn't hesitate. I was like, this is what I've been searching for. Tell me where to sign up. I don't even care the how. This just says yes to everything I want in my life. I dove in. My first month, I made $70. Woo woo. I know a lot of people are thinking, what? Like, she was excited about that. She made $70. But it showed me, like, I have a degree in business, and I know that most businesses are in the red for 3 years. 3 years to get out of the red. 60 to 70 hours a week most people work when they're building a business, and it takes them 3 years to break even, not to earn a profit, 3 years to break even, 60 to 70 hours a week. When I saw this opportunity, I was like, I am not investing $250,000. I am not investing $1 million, and I can be out of the red next month. Like, is this for real? Like, this is too good to be true. So I dove in full force. When I got my $70 paycheck, I was so pumped because I knew I had helped 3 people. And I knew that if I was helping 3 people, we all hear the compound effect, but I actually understand the compound effect because my degree in financial management, we talk about the future value of if you were to invest $100 today, what's the future value of it 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now. So I understand residual income in a different way than I think a lot of people do. So I knew that if I could do that in my first month and I could just continue to repeat that and get better, that I would be able to leave my job. And my goal was 2 years. And at my year mark, my part-time income with Beachbody had surpassed my full-time income in the financial industry. I was scared. I was terrified. It took me another 6 months to leave my job. And it was my husband pushing me like, what are you doing? You're spending 40 hours there and you're making more with Beachbody and you're spending like 10 to 15 hours. This isn't logical, Kristi. I'm like, I know, it's terrifying though. So finally left my job. And in 3 months' time after leaving my job, being able to put full-time effort into this, I was able to replace the income that I lost with my job. But the thing that I want to share with you guys today, I didn't cry too much, but there are 4 things that I really want to share with you. And then I'm going to give you guys some action items, and I'm going to send Dara something to share with you as well. But number 1 is you have to have a strong desire. And if you don't know what that desire is, you need to fight hard to figure it out. Because I didn't actually know what a why meant. When I got started, we had the game plan. We had the game plan. It wasn't called the vital behaviors. It was a game plan. There were 10 things on it. And the first thing said, what is your why, or figure out your why. And I crossed it out. I was like, I don't know what that means. So we don't need that. And then the second thing was like personal development. I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about. So we don't need to do that either. But the thing was, I was doing both of those things. I had a why that made me cry every day I came home from my job. My boss was a jerk. And I would cry and get anxious because I didn't want to go back the next day. And I was tired of living in anxiety, like ridden. I was afraid of depression creeping back in my life because I was so miserable in my job. That was my why. It was in front of me every single day. Some people don't have the pleasure of having such an awful boss, but I did. And I was stoked about it because it was like a slap in the face every day. Here's your why, here's your why, here's your why. You won't forget it. You'll make sure to build your business today. And I know not everybody has that. Not everybody is so blessed to have a jerk for a boss. But you have to have a why that is in front of you that actually makes you cry, that pisses you off. Like now my why's changed. My why is because I feel that society lives at about 10% of their capabilities. And that pisses me off. People go around thinking that they just have to go through life with whatever's dealt. And I know that's not a fact. We can't control results, but we can control our actions, which brings me to number 2, action. Keystone actions. And the crazy thing about this one is what makes Beachbody so unique is they give you exactly what you need to do every day to be successful. But here's the gut check. Are you actually doing it? Are you showing up every day and doing your personal development? Are you doing your workouts every day? Are you inviting every day? Are you adding to your network? Are you forming relationships? Truly. Because I will see coaches post, I'm struggling with inviting. That's because you're not doing it consistently. Gut check, if you don't do something consistently, you're always going to lack confidence in it. See, every decision we make either builds or hurts our confidence. When we show up for what we say we will show up for, we gain a little bit more confidence. When we don't, we decrease our confidence. It's like a bank account. And we get to choose every day. So even when you don't feel like doing things, if you show up and do them, you are growing yourself. That's the only way you're going to figure all those questions you have out is by taking action. I can do all the training in the world. I can give you exactly what my day-to-day looks like, but that doesn't mean you'll be successful unless you're taking action. And you need to figure out how those vital behaviors work in your day-to-day life. I can tell you how they work in mine, but you have a different life than I do. You have different priorities. You have different strengths. So you have to play to those. Number 3, you have to count the cost. Like your desire, your why has to be so powerful that you take action, but you also have to realize you're going to have to sacrifice things. There are going to be things you are going to have to give up in the short term. There are going to be things that are going to hurt. There are going to be things that are uncomfortable, and you have to be ready for that. See, most people want immediate gratification so badly that they're willing to give up their long-term vision for their life because it's uncomfortable in the short term and they don't see the results immediately. And honestly, that's why I'm successful, because I can see the long-term vision and I'm not like everybody else. I don't just look at the immediate gratification, because I know the activities that I do today pay off a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, if I'm doing it.
Let me take a look.
You have to be able to know that people, you're going to have haters, you're going to have doubters, you're going to have people that tell you you can't do this, you're going to have to make sacrifices, you're going to have to show up and do things when you don't feel like it. Which brings me to point number 4, commitment over feeling. And this is the biggest tip that I can give you. I don't always feel like doing my job. I don't always feel like waking up and working out. I don't feel like being a coach. I don't feel like listening to people's excuses. I don't feel like doing things. I'm a lazy person. I always tell people I'm the most productive lazy person you will ever know. I'm only productive so I can be lazy, because I enjoy being lazy. But I also don't want to just be lazy and have to suffer consequences of stress financially, stress with where I'm going with my life, stress of not feeling good in my own skin. Like, those are things I don't want to deal with. So no matter how I feel, I make a commitment first, and then I act, and I feel amazing after. Most of society reverses that decision train. They have a feeling, they act on the feeling, the commitments are out the window. So I always show up on my commitments, even when I don't feel like it. People are like, really? I'm like, yeah. Because if I show up, I feel awesome after. I also build my confidence. When I don't show up, your confidence goes away. You start doubting, you start fearing. Fear and doubt will creep in even more, and you will hold yourself back. When I start getting frustrated with something, when I start doubting or fearing, I know the only way to get rid of that is to take more action. Mm-hmm. It's the only thing that will get rid of that. So strong desire, really figure out your why. And you need to sit down every single day and visualize that why before you get started. And I know you guys have heard visualization, affirmations, and you're thinking, oh, that's hocus pocus, I don't need to do that. But I actually learned recently why you need to do that. There are 2 parts of your brain. You have your frontal cortex, you have your amygdala. Your frontal cortex, vision, 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 vision. It's the bigger vision for your life. The other part of your brain, fear, doubt, hesitation. This isn't going to work. Nope, you can't do it. You're not successful. You're not good enough. You can't be like them. That's that other part of your brain talking. That is the part of our brain that we let take over. We have to retrain our brains, the frontal cortex of our brain, to actually believe that our visions are possible. And the only way you can do that is by retraining your brain. That is why visualization and affirmations are so powerful. That is why I start my day every day with my why and where I'm going, so that I can understand when I'm taking action, number 2, when I'm taking action, what that action means. Why am I doing it in the first place? So again, strong desire, action, count the cost, commitment over feeling. And the thing that I'm going to send over to Dara today is, it's a 6-figure, and she might have shared it with you guys before. It's a 6-figure income earner checklist. And I don't know your goals, but I know a lot of coaches on my team, their goals are to earn 6 figures, are to be a superstar diamond coach, are to be an elite coach, are to create financial freedom or time freedom, whatever those goals are for you. But this 6-figure income earner checklist, why I think it's so important is, whatever struggle you're having in your business, you can't focus on struggle. Because if you focus on struggle, you bring more struggle to you. What you focus on expands. So instead of focusing on struggle, I focus on solutions. If things aren't going my way in my business, I focus on what I can control, and the only thing I can control is me. How can I grow? How can I get better? So I want to send you guys this 6-figure income earner checklist, because I want you guys to look through it, and I want you to find one item on that checklist that you aren't doing, and I can promise you there's something on that checklist you aren't doing, that you can improve on this week. Just one that you can focus on this week. And once you get that one thing on that list solidified as a habit in your business, I want you to choose one more. So I want you to use this checklist as a gut check for yourself every single week. I want you to go through it, choose one thing, master that one thing before you move on to the next thing. Because if you did that with this list, in 2 years, 3 years, every single one of you could be a 6-figure income earner. But the way to get there is through your own personal growth. My income, all and I had a goal of earning $1 million this year, not just total $1 million, but $1 million for the calendar year, January to December. We missed that goal. And, you know, I know that sounds like, oh, big deal, Kristi, you missed that goal. So sad to miss that goal. But like any goal, when you have a goal to hit, you know, my first goal I remember was to hit 1-star diamond. And when I missed it, I cried. I was so upset. Now when I miss these goals that seem a little probably crazy because I don't know where you guys are at in your business, it's different. Like I look at it and I'm like, awesome. Okay, I didn't hit that goal because I have to grow more. I have to improve. I have to get better. I'm not at that leadership level yet that I should be earning that income. Mm-hmm. So we have to grow into our goals. So whatever you're struggling with in your business, the only one that can control the solutions for that is you. And I had coaches ask me today, and this is why I brought up the 6-figure income earner checklist, is how do you find builders, Kristi? Because when you look at me, I sponsored, in 2014, I only had 1 diamond coach. The other one was me, was my second business center. So to get elite, you have to have 2 new diamonds. I barely made elite that year because I didn't have the diamond coaches. And I only helped 1 person get to diamond. I knew that that's okay. I failed that year, but I learned a lot and I was going to grow through it and become a better leader. In 2015, I had 15 personally sponsored new diamond coaches. This year, I have 12 personally sponsored new diamond coaches. I'm not where I want to be. I have a lot more growth to grow into to reach my next set of goals, to reach my next vision. I want more coaches to be earning the Millions Club. I want more coaches to be having complete freedom, time freedom, financial freedom, and loving what they do every day and realizing what they are capable of achieving and having that confidence that is just so undestructible. Because if someone can say anything to me and it doesn't hurt, and this is coming from a recovered people pleaser, they can doubt me, they can say I'm a fraud, they can say whatever they want. I've heard it all. It doesn't hurt anymore because I've grown enough in my leadership and my confidence to know that I can set a goal and I can control my actions to grow into that goal. So I want to give you guys this because if you want to attract more builders to your business, if you want more success in your business, you control that. That's powerful. But I want you to take it a step further and I want you to actually take action on those things. So I'll give that list to Dara in case she doesn't. I don't know if have you ever seen it, Dara?
I have the one that came from Mindy Winder. Is it the same one?
It's probably the same one. Yes.
But
yeah.
I would love for you to send it and I'll compare them. That would be great. And
yeah.
What I have.
Yeah. So that way you guys can go.
I don't think it's any different, right?
I don't think so. I still use it because it's true. Like I look at those things and there's maybe 1 or 2 things that I don't do because I just run my business a little bit differently. Mm-hmm. But everything else I do. And I'm multiple 6-figure income earner. But how cool to have a list of what can I improve on every single week, every single month? What can my focus be on top of my vital behaviors to ensure that I'm getting where I want to go?
Absolutely. I mean, I think you and I chatted about action, just taking action and how that really breeds success. And I just wanted to touch on something you said, that number 4, that commitment over feeling, saying like when you commit to taking those actions, even when you don't feel like it. I kind of related that when you said it to my workouts too. I don't always want to do my workouts, but holy cow, like I love my endorphins. And when I'm done, I'm like, why did I put that off so long? I feel amazing. And I think the same thing kind of applies there.
So true. There are times where I do not feel like getting on a Zoom. I do mastermind Zooms with my coaches, and that's awful. I don't want to talk with anyone. I'm an introvert. But I get on, and when I'm able to add value to them and they're able to share their successes or their struggles and we can work on overcoming those, I get off and I'm fired up. And then I actually want to work more. So I go from not wanting to work and doing anything to feeling so amazing that I just want to dive into it more. But what most people do is they just stop taking action at that point because they don't feel like it. So they never build that confidence. They continue digging themselves a hole because they continue building that belief or doubt and fear instead of that confidence.
Right. The more you feed it, the bigger it becomes, right?
Yeah.
Either way, build your success or you build the fear. So I wanted to ask you, the amygdala and the frontal cortex, is that from 6 months to 6 figures, the book?
12-week year.
12-week year. Okay, so you guys write that down. If you haven't, I was like, I've started a few books lately. So it's the 12-week year.
My favorite personal development books of all time right now, 6 months to 6 figures and 12-week year. And 12-week year, because he breaks down all of those things, and the 4 things I just gave you, the desire, action, count the cost, commitment over feeling, those are all from the 12-week year. And you'll see him mention it multiple times, but he breaks down like why people do that. And I think that's so powerful. Like, why do we always choose easy over hard? You know, because I choose hard. I always choose hard. And my life is easy. And a lot of people say that, oh, it's just easy for you. Well, it is, because I chose hard. For years, I chose hard when it would have been easier to choose easy. But most everybody else chooses easy and their life becomes hard, you know? And so I want more people to understand, choose hard in the moment, choose growth in the moment.
Right, for a better tomorrow. So I'm going to ask one more question then. Is it okay if we open it up for Q&A?
Oh, yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
So what do you think, Kristi, was the difference from 2014 advancing 1 diamond to 2015 and 16, now 15 diamonds, 10, 12 diamonds? What was the difference in your business?
Yeah.
What did you do differently?
Yeah, so I started mastermind sessions. Basically, I was like, okay, I'm signing these coaches up. I'm giving them training. We're doing, we have our own version of the Coach Basics, and they go through that. Some finish it, some don't, some like go on. But I'm losing people. There are people that just everyone starts at a different spot in their business, right? And some coaches have a lot more confidence to build before they're really going to start seeing growth in their business, because it's more of a personal journey at the beginning before they're able to turn around and like pull somebody else up. And I have plenty of people that are in the fitness industry, so into fitness, like crush their fitness goals, but still don't have the confidence as a coach to put themselves out there, and it just takes them longer. And so I realized I'm kind of missing the boat. They get through the training and I haven't built that relationship with them. So I reached out to anybody in my downline that had, at the time, because I didn't have a lot of builders then, so I reached out to my entire downline, anyone that had a Success Club point, 1 Success Club point or more, or you could do 2, whatever, whatever works for you and your organization. And everyone that had 1 or more Success Club points, I messaged them and I said, hey, I want to start this mastermind session. It would be 10 people per Zoom. And every week we would go through successes, struggles, how to overcome those. I will do trainings on things that you guys need. So it's very focused on you actually taking action. Like, I'm going to go through every week what you're taking action on. And if you're not taking action, you're out of the group, because this is an action-oriented group, and let's grow together. And at first I had started it with kind of like a 6-month date in mind, like just doing it for 6 months. I've been doing it since the beginning of 2015, and I have coaches that have been in my Zoom for 1.5 years. They show up every week. They don't miss it. And, and I do different things. People are always like, oh, well, what are the topics? I mean, I've been doing it for going on 2 years now. We do everything. Like the beginning of this year, we started January. We went through 6 months to 6 figures as a group. And every week we talked about the action items that are in the book, because you can see, you can write down all these things. So every week we would actually go through. They weren't just reading their personal development. We were studying it. We were figuring out, like, 6 months to 6 figures, how do we get them there? And we were doing that together. And then, in our business, you can have a rock star month and then the next month slower. It always happens. It happens to me. I love it, because I know that in the slower months, that's when I grow the most. I don't grow when my business is easy. I grow when it's tough. So I'll get on a Zoom and I'll say, hey guys, so super exciting. Last month I hit like Success Club 50. Wow. And this month I'm at like 5. That's all right. This is what I'm going to do differently this month to try to rock it out of the park. This is what I'm going to do differently to find my minimum of 10 to 15 people who need my help this month. And I'll just get creative. I'll, do something random or different on Facebook or social media that I haven't done before. I'll go live and share my story and invite people to join me, or just something random. But then I'll share it with them. Like, this is what I'm going to do. Now, what are you guys going to do? And then we'll all share what we're going to do to overcome whatever struggles people are going through. And so the best part about it is that they all start teaching each other. So I become more of just the middleman, facilitating conversation. I'm not training so much anymore. If we do trainings, I'll say, hey guys, like I want you each to take a week, and every week it's going to be your week to host the training for the week. You're going to give us a training, 10 minutes, and then you're going to go through and go through everyone's action items for the week. So I just develop it as I go. I don't really have a system. But the best part is my coaches take it and they take this back to their teams. So every week they schedule their mastermind Zoom with their personally sponsored coaches to take place after the Zoom with me, so they know exactly what to talk about with their coaches. So that way downline we all have similar, we're getting the message across, right, every single week. So that was probably the biggest thing. And then, the compound effect. I feel like in this business, it pays off for people at different rates. And I was just that person that I was kind of building alone my first few years, 2011, 12, 13, 14. Like I had some builders, but I didn't have rock star builders that if you looked at my business today are still with me. Like, yeah, they're still on the team, but they're not still building, right? Maybe they were a diamond coach and now they're emerald, or maybe they were a star diamond and now they're sitting at diamond, lucky somehow. But they weren't really with me. And it just took me longer. But I didn't care how long it took me, because I knew that my actions, what I could control, I was doing. I was doing my vital behaviors. When they say invite 2 to 5 people, I was inviting 20 to 30 a day. When they say grow your network by 2 to 5 people, I was growing my network by 20 a day. So I was 10xing, which I love that book too. I was 10xing everything that I could think of. And I just had to grow more to attract those people. But I think I also had to understand my vision and get better at telling my story and my vision to other people. I wasn't a person that was great on video. I wasn't a great speaker. Like, I'm introverted. I knew what I wanted in my life and I was going to work for it. I'm a worker. Like, somebody said it perfectly the other day, like, you're a hustler. And I'm like, I'm a hustler. So I totally am. And I just didn't know how to share that vision with other people. It took me a little bit longer to find my voice. And I think the other thing, sorry, there's so many different little pieces. The other thing that really held me back for so long was comparison. So I started at the same month as Tara Carr and Scotty Hobbs. And they both, Beachbody was recognizing them. Tara Carr got to 15 stars. Scotty Hobbs was like in the millions club, and I'm neither. And Beachbody wasn't paying attention to me at all. And I'm just like, I knew that I was going to get where I wanted to go. But at the same time, I was comparing myself. Whether I believed I was or not, I was. And that thing was holding me back, because I was always trying to figure out, what is everybody else doing that is working so well? How are they finding builders? And I see so many coaches do that now, like my personally sponsored coaches, and it drives me crazy, because I'm like, there is no secret sauce. You have to take these vital behaviors and put your own voice behind them. Because when you attract people that are like you and you're trying to be like all these other coaches, they don't connect with you anymore. They connected with you, they related to you when you started as a coach, but now you're training them like these other people would, right? And there was just a disconnect, I think, because I didn't have the confidence in myself to know that I had the answers. You all have the answers. You know how to do the vital behaviors. And it's truly what you have to teach people, is how to do the vital behaviors. There's not a bigger secret than that. I just do them more than most people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. 10X. That's another really great book. I love him. You just cannot, you listen to him and you're like, yeah, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to go do it.
Well, and that was the thing too, is I think the more personal development I did, I realized that the voice, like, I'm kind of tough love. Like, I went live in my team page today and I was like, real talk time. You guys aren't doing ish. Okay. You're not doing enough. So you all want to say, well, why am I not finding these people? Or why am I not doing this? It's like, stop worrying about the universe and what it's giving to you. Like, what are you doing? And that's me. Like, I'm going to give you tough love. My coaches will come back to me and say, the first time you did that, it made me cry, but I love you for it. And I'm so glad you said it, because nobody's ever said it to me. And that's me. But for years, I think I was so afraid to do that, to just be me, that also held my business back. But I didn't give up, because I knew I was going to figure it out. I just had to figure it out at my own pace.
Yeah, I like that, Kristi. I think you make a good point. As same with me. It took me 5 years to get to superstar when people
Me too.
free, and that comparison is the thief of joy. It will rob you of your joy and your happiness, and you just cannot, because they didn't start where you started or I started, right? Like we all have different places,
Right. And we'll all connect with people differently. Like my story connects with certain people, but there are going to be different people that connect with Heather or Amanda, or I can't say everyone's name, Amber. They're going to connect with you guys differently than they connect with me. And that's why it's so powerful that you're out there telling your story and being true to you. Because one, when you're trying to be somebody else, this business isn't fun, but they need your voice. Like you have to be the voice for those people who don't have a voice yet. And I think that's another big piece that I was missing, was I didn't know how to do that because I didn't have confidence in myself yet. Even though I was massively doing the vital behaviors, I had a successful business. I just didn't have people running with me.
Do you guys have questions? Because I know I have one more, but I want to open it up so you guys can really learn from Kristi. I talked to her enough, but I'd love for you guys, if you have any questions for Kristi, just unmute yourself.
It can be anything. It doesn't have to be related to what we talked about.
She's done figure competitions. Look at her Instagram. It's amazing. I didn't know that about you.
Oh, you did it?
No.
Yeah, I've competed for 3 years. It's 8 competitions in the last 3 years.
Wow. It's incredible. So is your do you attract other competitors?
I have a few. Most of them will start and quit because competitions are very self-centered.
I told you that the other day before I realized you had done that. Do you remember I said that?
Oh.
I hope she didn't take offense.
Oh no. Oh my gosh. No, I totally didn't. I didn't even remember you saying it. So I definitely didn't take offense. No, it's so true. They're very, very self-centered. So a lot of them, will get started, but then they realize they want a sponsor. And I'm like, dude, sponsor yourself. Like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, I sponsor myself. I'll make more money than all of you ever will. And you might be at the top of your game in the fitness industry. Like, I can't remember the girl's name who's won the Olympia 3 or 4 times. Like Nicole Wilkins, but there's another one, Ashley she's the bikini competitor, Kaltwasser or something like that. I don't know her last name, but between the two of them, sure, they have tons of deals at they're the top of the top, 2 out of hundreds of thousands of competitors. And 2, when you think of how many Beachbody coaches we have and the opportunity for everybody to earn 6 and 7 figures, that's crazy. And they have to work really hard for all these sponsors. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me. But
yeah, because the ability in Beachbody is equal. It doesn't matter what you look like, your background, your education level, your experience, your personality. It doesn't matter. It really
we get paid to tell our story. How cool is that? Because truly, the person that's going to succeed the most is the one that tells their story the most to most people.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's awesome. They tell their story on social media, but they can't, they're not directly impacting as many. I mean, they are, people comment and like their stuff, but to be able to really be one-on-one with somebody and see that change taking place, for me, that fires me up when I see, and not just the fitness aspect for me, because I was a financial advisor. I want to see people blow this out of the water and create financial freedom, because I was tired of helping rich people get richer. Just putting that out there. Sorry if you're rich. But
I think we're all on this because we're not yet.
But it frustrated me because they were so ungrateful. Rich people are not happy people. Honestly, just because they make money, they are not happy. Most of them are miserable. And I know because I worked in the industry. And I think that's the coolest thing about Beachbody. I am happier now, the level of income I'm at, not because of the income, but because of the person I had to grow into to get to that income.
And the lives. I mean, that's probably the most rewarding thing for me. Like you said at the beginning of the call, you're really focused on helping your coaches hit superstar million club. That's the truly fulfilling part. And what I do, sitting behind a desk for 9 hours did not fuel my fire like this and fill my heart with seeing all of these amazing women on here right now and the way that they've changed their lives, and all the other people out there that I'm excited to help impact and lock arms with, like that I never got from my desk job ever.
No. Oh no. Not at all. I just had people calling me, oh my gosh, the market's down. You need to invest in this. Hold. It's long-term investment. So.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you keep, because you said you did the competition for a little bit, how do you keep, invest yourself in other people, other things so that you can draw people to you, but not get distracted by those things? Because I teach classes, and sometimes I feel like I'm all into my classes, or I'm all into Beachbody, promoting online. So how do you stay focused and balanced with that aspect?
Yeah, it takes planning. You really have to have a plan each week. So on Sunday nights, you need to sit down and plan out your entire week. Plan out when you're going to be teaching classes, plan out when you're going to be posting to social media, when you're going to be inviting, when you're going to be growing your network. And I know a lot of people will teach invite 10 people a day. For my coaches, if they have a lot of other stuff going on, or it just works better for them, some of them invite 50 people on a Monday and 50 people on a Tuesday, and then just do follow-ups all week, because that's what works with their schedule. And that's kind of the cool thing, is you can make it fit you. So for me, when I was competing, even though I wasn't working my full-time job anymore, I had already left it, so it was full-time Beachbody. I still got up every single day at 4:30 a.m. to get in my workouts, because on top of Body Beast, I had to do an hour of cardio every single day, and then an extra booty workout 3 times a week to work my booty. So, it was 2 to 2.5 hours of workouts every single day. So I would get that done first, because for me, it was done, it was out of the way. And then I could focus on my business and focus on all the other things. But you also have to find a system. One, you need to create a plan and work that plan. So 12-week year, I'd highly recommend it, because he's very big on planning and how to create that plan. And if you guys read the book or listen to the audio, also go to his website, 12weekyear.com. And if you opt in, he will send you the PDFs to actually complete and fill out as you're doing the book. But he's really big on that, scheduling things out. I'm not super fancy with anything, because I'm basic. The shirt that says, don't be basic. I need one that says be basic, because I'm basic. So Google Calendar, basic, but I love it because I can sit down and I can block out, okay, from this time to this time I'm doing my workout, this time to this time I'm inviting, this time to this time I'm doing Zooms. So I have everything scheduled out so that I don't miss anything in my day.
And if I could piggyback on that, I'm doing Tony Robbins' Time of Your Life. It's kind of like a time management system. And basically he says, at the beginning of the week, right, what's your outcome? What are you looking to accomplish, right? So you have to teach your classes, you're a mom, you're a wife, what in your Beachbody business do you want? What's your outcome? Do you have a amount of people that you want to reach out to? Do you have a success club number, an income number? What is your outcome? And then putting on your calendar action items that align with the results that you want to achieve. Right. And that kind of, and then I'm an iCal girl. I'm always putting things in iCal, with alerts, okay, from this time to this time, and so that it keeps me kind of focused.
Yeah. And I was lucky enough that one of the things before I started coaching was I was training for an Ironman triathlon, and that's 20 hours of workouts a week. So I literally had to schedule out, I had 8-hour workouts. You can't just decide, oh, I'm going to go fit in an 8-hour workout right now. You have to know when you're doing that. So that was the thing. I would look at what I needed to do for the week, and I would have to put it all in the calendar. So that really helped. And Dara, I haven't done the Tony Robbins thing, but the 12-week year, he does that. He helps you create your vision and then your goals based off of your vision, and then your task items based off that, and then breaking it down into a weekly plan, and then revisiting and having a daily plan every single day, and visit your daily plan and your weekly plan every day before you start your day, so that what I visit it the night before, so that I know what to expect the next morning, so that I don't wake up behind already.
That's awesome. Where are you building? Are you page, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat? Where are you?
I'm not on Snapchat. And if you are, awesome.
Get out of the building. Yes, I was in floor 1.
It's Mary. I just muted.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So I'm not on Snapchat because I know everybody says you should be, but it's just against who I am. Like it doesn't align, and I can't do it because I like to be present in the moment. When I'm with friends, with family, I want to be present, and Snapchat requires you doing everything live. And so with Facebook and Instagram, I can take a picture and go back later and post it, and I can't do that with Snapchat. Not saying like we're going to all have to do things that we're uncomfortable with, but it's not even a comfort thing for me. It's just that it doesn't align with my priorities because I want to be present. So I build on Instagram, my like page and my personal page, and then YouTube, which it wasn't, YouTube's an accident. So I started doing YouTube videos years ago. If you watch my videos from 2011, they suck, and I purposely leave them there so you guys can go back and see how bad I was. But I just do YouTube videos for training. It was just to help my team. It wasn't a way to grow. But I have about 2 people a month sign up on YouTube. Again, complete accident. But it was just something I was doing anyway. So I've consistently been putting videos up there. And then I did like a free training on how to optimize your YouTube a little bit earlier this year. We did that training, Paul and I, in January, and he started implementing what we learned. It's kind of complicated stuff. And it was from a free webinar, which is even more awesome. And by the end of the year, or well, not the end of the year, like now, I was going back through like my coaches and customers that signed last month and this month, and 2 to 3 of them are from YouTube.
I have a question about telling your story. How do you do it on Instagram, since I know it's like up to a minute now, but like, are you posting videos so people can see you and hear your voice and hear how genuine you are? Or are you typing like really long stories out? You know, like, can you advise?
Yeah. I try to do one. If you go to my YouTube or my Instagram, it's Kristi Lynn_fitness. So KRISTILYNN and then _fitness. So one post every day is kind of a real-time post that I post in the morning, like during my workout, in the middle of like, basically I do workout and then personal development, or personal development and then my workout. So in between, I do a post on Instagram. And when you think of telling your story, it's really about took me a long time to understand, but it's really about little pieces of your story. Like that $5 part of my story, that connects with so many moms. I have so many moms on my team because they're like, I don't ever want that to be me having to tell my child no, that they can't do a soccer tournament, right? So you just want to kind of drop little pieces. And it can be not just your story, but things that you do currently. So like I'm doing Quarter Force, that's part of my story, right? So not every day, but I'll post, like even if it's a post telling a different part of my story at the end, and I'll say, and today was day 22, Quarter Force, or 23 or whatever it was. So I'm always, when I look at my story, sometimes it's hard for me. So I will think back to like where I was in 2011 or 2012 or 2013. I go really far back because wherever we were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, there's somebody today that is us 5 years ago and 10 years ago, and they need to hear that you struggle with those things. So today, and also if you're actively building your business, think about the objections you're getting from people, from customers, from challengers, from coaches. Think of the things that people are telling you. Like the other day, somebody was like, Quarter Force is too hard. I was like, too hard? My mom is still overweight. She's lost 30 pounds, but she's still overweight, and she can't do any of the moves. She modified the modifier. Like, what do you mean it's too hard? Like, you're a perfectionist. Like, I was so frustrated that she said that. But I realized, like, people don't know that they can modify. Like, people think that I'm just some superwoman that can do all of the moves perfectly and that I don't modify anything. I wish, but I'm still modifying. Like, and there are still times I'm modifying the modifier because I'm like, dude, I can't do another one, but I'm not going to give up. So I'm just going to modify this even more. And I realized I have to go live about that. I need to share that part of my story. Not because I don't think of it as a struggle. I just get my workout done. But those are the things that stop people, right? So anything that you're doing in your business, like think of what the responses you're getting. I love objections. I love when coaches ask questions. I love when challengers ask questions. That gives me what to go live about. Because think about when somebody asks you a question, how do you usually answer? You usually are like, oh my gosh, I know exactly what you mean because this has happened to me. And you share your story. then you take that and you share it on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, because those are the exact things that people need to hear.
And it's probably against what you were saying about being present with Snapchat, but Instagram has stories, Vanessa, the Instagram stories. And so I've been using those as a kind of a little bit of a behind the scenes look at my life, like just little things my kids do throughout the day, or maybe like meal prep. So it's a way for people to get a more in-depth like look at my life that's not just a picture on it or a video, you know. Right. So I think a lot of people that are building over there use those stories.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm not saying Snapchat or stories are wrong. If that, like, there are coaches rocking it on there. Like, it's an early adoption type thing. Like, dive in and do it if it works for you. It's just not, it's not that it's even uncomfortable. I did it for a day and I was like, like, you can't do this. I wish but it just, I'm so like, I have so much focus and intent for like my to-do list and what I need to get done for the day, you know? So I have a hard time. That
speaks volumes to your character, that you're not willing to sacrifice your priorities to hop on a social media train that everyone's doing. I mean, whatever you're doing is working clearly. So, I mean, I think that speaks volumes to your character.
Thank you. But people are rocking it. So if you like want a new social media, that's the one that you can get really big on, I think.
Which one?
Snapchat. Yeah, I think a lot. I have coaches that are getting customers and things from it. You know, people that follow them on Facebook, but then once they really saw the behind the scenes on Snapchat, now they're like, yeah, I want to do this. So I think there is an added level. But I like live video. If you guys aren't using live video, people can really hear your sincerity. And I invite on live video, whether it's for a challenge group or for the coach opportunity. I go live, I share my story, and then I do a hook at the end. And that, like, I usually get 1 to 2 people. I mean, I don't do it every day. You know, it's every other week or once a month. But I usually get a couple people from that too, because they can really see your sincerity, that you do want to help them. This isn't just about signing them up.
Absolutely. Do you do that on your like page, personal page, both?
Both. Usually my personal page, because it does get more traction for me. I have more followers on my like page, but nobody likes them.
I know.
Yeah. So I still use my personal page just because those
people they know you to some degree, versus the like page. I have all those followers. I don't know how much they're seeing over on my like page.
Right. Yeah.
But on my personal page, I can message them and stay on their radar, and then they get to know me better. I feel.
Yeah. And then, no, true. And then what I do with my like page is, if there is somebody that's like commenting or liking or messaging me, I'll add them as a friend on my personal page so that they can see more of my personal stuff, because I do a better job on my personal page than I do my like page.
And I know you're maxed out on friends. How do you deal with that? If
something, this is such a bad way to deal with it, but if something pops up in my news feed, then I'm like, no, not my tribe. Unfriend. Or if they pop up and they're a coach, I feel so bad for this one, but if they're a coach and they're not on my team directly, or they're not a top level leader that I want to connect with on a regular basis, I unfriend them. I know it sucks. But and then my husband is actually going through, because a lot of people get off of Facebook, you know, delete their accounts and then sign back up with a new account years later or whatnot, and they keep spots on your friends list. So right now my husband's going through and one by one looking at every person on my friends list, like downloaded my entire Facebook friends list. And then if they haven't posted to their timeline in 3 months, they're getting the boot.
Yeah.
Because they're not active. So they don't need to.
Can I say something? Before I give people the boot, I go through their friends list to see if there's anybody that I'd like to attract on their
I like that.
I'm all about people's friends list. I go through coaches that sign up and then quit. I go through their friends list because they've posted for long enough that they have created people who are interested, but now they don't have anybody to follow because that person's gone. So I go through their friends list.
6 degrees of separation from a rock star, right? I mean,
yes. Can you imagine how many coaches have quit that have like a rock star on their friends list?
Hey,
sorry,
Kristi,
somebody was going to talk. Jess, sorry.
No, you're good. So I have a question about the diamond coaches that you have harvested, I suppose, over the last year. So one, where do you find coaches that are excited about working? And two,
what makes them different? Like, what can you identify in them? Like, I really think that, like, you're either built with it or you're not, whether you have the drive to become a diamond in this business. And I'm wondering, is that kind of what you're noticing? Like, is there a certain personality trait that you look for that you think is going to be a rock star? Like, kind of how do you judge that in finding diamond coaches?
Yeah, great question. So I notice right away if they're showing up for the vital behaviors. It's okay if they're uncomfortable, but if they're showing up for it, I don't care if they're not seeing results. I ask them to send me their business activity trackers every week. And right away I can tell who actually sends it to me or who starts asking me questions at least. Because some of the rock stars don't send it to me. They're like, I got this, I don't need to send it to you. But they'll ask me questions. And so right away when people are showing up to do the vital behaviors, I get them in a mastermind Zoom. So in our training group that we have going right now, it's called, it's a 21-day Ignite Your Spark, and it's just a new coach training. And so because we do it as a team, I take all my personally sponsored coaches and I put them in a private group message. And every day they're supposed to check in with the action item for the day from the training. And it'll start with 15 people in there. And by the end, there's 3 or 4 that are checking in. Those are the 3 or 4 that get my time. Mm-hmm. And so that right away helps me because I can narrow it down to who that 1 person or 2 people or 3 people are. And then I'm doing a weekly Zoom with them while they're in the training group. So every week we get on a Zoom and we talk about whatever the training was for that week. So it's in blocks. Like the first, we do vision for 3 days. We do inviting for 4 days. And so the first week we just get on and we talk about their vision and we talk about their questions with inviting. And I can also show by who shows up or who asks me for the recording. And that seems so simple, but I can tell so much just by their taking action. And I don't care how slow someone grows. Some of my best performers are people that grew super slow. Mm-hmm. They weren't anyone that grew fast. They just showed up consistently. And then I know that it took me a while to find builders, and they start to grow and build confidence, and then they start to find the builders. But as far as like the one thing, like I have so many different types of people. Like I have a coach who's lost 85 pounds and still has 80 pounds to go. And she is incredible. Her confidence is amazing. She does live videos. I give her a task to push her outside her comfort zone and she does it. She's been a coach before. I don't know who her coach was, but the girl stopped showing up and then she didn't have a coach, so she quit. But then I have people that are figure competitors, right? And then I have people that are stay-at-home moms. So there's not like any one thing. Like I have challengers that got Shakeology on a discount for 3 years and then, came to me and are like, okay, I want to do what you do and I want to leave my full-time job. And they're an engineer and in 6 months they've left their full-time job. The one thing that I have noticed that I've changed is when people are showing up, I praise their action, not their results. I mean, of course I recognize results, but I try to recognize action over results, and I try to recognize failure. Because if we're always recognizing results, a lot of people just they don't get the results right away, and so they stop taking action. But if you're recognizing the action, they're excited to take more because they want that recognition again.
So do you think, then Jess and I were talking about your training, your masterminds, your 21-day with the leaders and things, and I talked about how many diamonds you had developed this year. So do you think it's the numbers? Like, do you just think it's the sheer amount of relationships you've been building, the invites you've been sending, you're 10xing your business? Is that what you think?
I totally do. I know some people will say, quality over quantity, and I'm like, I have to go with quantity to find the quality, and not that like I don't think anyone could be successful, but not anybody's willing to do the work. Hard work is it's work, and people just want something handed to them. They want immediate gratification, and that part is tough. But I find I get quality through quantity, right? Because I can have 10 people. Most of the coaches that sign up with me say they want to earn 6 figures. That's one of the questions I ask at the beginning. And 10 out of 10 will say, I want to earn 6 figures. And 1 out of 10 actually show up in the first month. So when people are like, oh, I sign up 2 or 3 people, it's quality. I'm like, I would never be successful that way because 2 or 3 people would take me forever to find the builders that like actually want this.
I agree. I know Melissa McAllister said at Summit and in the wall on one thread, I mean, I think she recruits between 8 and 10 coaches. She's always a top 10 coach or has been for years. And she believes that it is. She finds her 8 or 10 and all of them do something. I don't know how she does that, but she's the only one. She's the only one that I've heard.
Well, I don't think all of them do something, because if all of them did something, she would be, think of it, 8 to 10 people. That's 120 people a year. She's been a coach for what, 6 years? That's 700 people-ish, 700, 800 people. If all of them were doing something, she would be a 25 business owners at superstar, right? Yeah. And so, because she says that, but then at leadership, she did say, she's like, don't worry, not all of them do something. But that's about, I sponsor 10 to 15 a month. And I also think she has really, she's developed good systems and she's put in the work. Like, she's been in the fitness industry for a long, long, long time. So that's it's different because she's had a network longer, right? And where I started, I had 200 friends on Facebook and no network to speak of. So that too, like, I think 8 to 10, you're going to find builders. If you sponsor 8 to 10 people a month, you're going to find builders.
I mean, 10% ratio, right? I mean,
right.
I think that's for anybody. And yeah, maybe you get better over time, 2 out of 10, maybe you are 3 out of 10, but I mean, you still have to have 10.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Well, and some people will sign up and, they'll just watch for years. Like, my friend just came to me in January, and by July she had left her job at Boeing of 10 years, but it took her 2.5 years to be like, okay, I want to do this. And so it's easy to see like all these active coaches not doing anything. You just don't know at what time their life is going to change, because every 6 months people's lives change. They get pregnant, they have a baby, they lose a job, they get a new job, now they have a baby and they don't want their job anymore. So life is always changing. Their goals are going to be changing, or they're going to realize priorities that they didn't know that they had. So if you're sharing your story, they're going to be like, oh, she was talking about being able to work from home and have freedom. I need to talk to her. So some of those people that have been following you are a coach, because you're still marketing to your coaches. You're still marketing to your team, having to help them to have that vision and confidence and belief. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. I have another Zoom, so I have to get going.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, have a good day, everyone. Thank you for letting me come and chat.
Bye.
Bye.